Alright, so I am long overdue to talk about some of the things I'm going to talk about. The video title already suggested it. Given that a week ago, a couple days ago here, today's the 28th by the time I'm recording this. A few days ago, I watched the finales for Arrow, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. And I love those shows a lot. Like they're excellent shows. They have long running seasons. I love those shows a lot, and I feel like in order to talk about, I wanted to talk about Legends of Tomorrow first, but I can't because I feel like I have to go in chronological order because that's the way that the shows are set up. That you have to watch them in that order, and so in order to do that, I have to start from scratch, and I'm going to try and power through these reviews without going too much into detail while still expressing myself clearly and fully. So in order to do that, we're going to start with Arrow Season 1. So the plot of Arrow season one is basically there's the first half of the season. The first half of the season very much is all about setting up who Oliver Queen is, who his friends are, who his family is, what his struggles are, and then of course it also in the flashbacks it also ties in his experience on an island where he's shipwrecked on an island, and the show is structured, and to this day, season 4 just ended of Arrow. The show is very much structured. Present day flashbacks, they go hand in hand as far as even lessons go, or for the most part, it's mostly the present day stuff telling the story of the Archer version of Oliver Queen, his vigilantism, and his goal to save the city. But it ties in the moral lessons with the flashbacks and how they go hand in hand. And basically, as the seasons go on, um, when in the pilot episode, in the very first episode of Arrow, season 1, episode 1, there's no difference between the man who left the island and the man who is back on the city because it happens where he just left the island, now he's back in the city. It's the same guy. He is pretty much a cold-blooded killer, but he's warm-blooded because he kills who he thinks deserve killing, like punishment. Um, and there's no difference between them. Now, as the seasons go on, the present day, as the longer he stays on in the city, the more he gains his humanity back. The complete opposite happens in the flashbacks. The longer he stays on an island, the more he realizes he needs to kill if he wants to survive. There is no sparing lives on this island. It is a death trap unless you kill. That's jumping way into season 4. That's a culmination of all 4 seasons of Arrow. Now, the first half of the season of the first season, like I said, is definitely about setting up the characters, all of the characters, mostly Oliver's story of him coming back to terms with civilization from the island to the city. Now, the second half, there's one big story arc that's going to glue the second half of the season together. And of course, that's where the main villain comes in, Merlin or Malcolm Merlin. The series knows him as, or more specifically, the Dark Archer. Now he's known by all of those names. The comic books, because he looks a lot like a wizard of sorts, they call him Merlin. But in the show, they call him the Dark Archer because they didn't want to give him. I don't think he has powers, but I think they called him Merlin just because they made him look like a wizard. That's my guess. And then that's what drives the plot for the second half of the season is they're trying to just find out. There's this recurring theme of season 1 where it's the undertaking, and there's the undertaking, and then there's this list that Oliver we find out he got from his dad on the island when he's first shipwrecked in a cave. There's this correlation between the two, something that they keep hearing known as the undertaking, and then it also has a direct relation so far, or not so far, but at first, indirect relationship, kind of almost coincidental. They find out that those two they need each other in order to survive, um, and so basically now that a team is formed, their plan is to stop it. And the undertaking, as we find out, is basically a big bomb to level the Glades because both Oliver Queen and Malcolm Merlin have a plan to save the city in their own twisted way. Well, I should say in Malcolm's own twisted way because he plans to basically kill innocent lives. He doesn't think that there's a part in Starling City that's basically like don't want to say, it's like the ghetto, it's like the hood, it's like the trashiest part of the city, and in order to wipe out the badness or the scum of the city completely, in order to wipe it out, he needs to destroy the Glades. He needs to level the Glades with a bomb, and that's what the Undertaking is. The Undertaking is basically just a bomb. It's like an earthquake machine. Um, and that's Malcolm Merlin's version of saving the city. And then there's Oliver's way of saving the city, which is looking out for kind of like the little guy almost, where he's stopping big corporations, stopping big time criminals, all these other things. That's basically the plot of season one, and season one was kick ass. This is back when Arrow was grimy and it was dirty, and that's when even the style of fighting really emphasized what the show was about, because that was before supernatural stuff was happening. That was before the Flash ever was even a thing. That was before magic was a thing. This is back when Arrow, the only fighting they had was just hand-to-hand combat or nothing but good old-fashioned archery. And this is what I really, really miss about Arrow. Specifically, it's kind of like it's nitpicking when we get into season 4, part of season 3, but mostly season 4. It's nitpicking when I say I miss the old fighting choreography, the fighting style. I miss the way that it's almost like he was just kind of he didn't try and look cool when he hit people. He always tried to I'm sorry, I messed that up. He didn't. Yeah, no, I was right. He didn't try and look cool when he hit people. He tried to just hit them and knock them down or kill them. The fact that he kills people regularly in season 1 was also kind of what differentiated him a lot from Batman, which I kind of liked it, because in a situation like that, I very much agree with him almost morally, where some of these people they're basically beyond saving. I kind of agree with him in season 1. They changed that in season 2. But anyway, yeah, the fighting style in season 1 is just so grotesque. Not grotesque, but it's so real, and I like it. He didn't try and do like a kick flip, and he didn't try and do all this crazy cool shit. Whenever he tried to hurt someone, he hit them, and hopefully they fall down. If not, he fucking hits them again. That's what I miss about season 1. Season 1 was really awesome. A bunch of characters that I can name off here. You got Oliver Queen. Stephen Amell kills it as Oliver Queen. Even through season 4, Stephen Amell by far is not the problem with the later seasons. We'll get into that when I talk about the later seasons. But continuously, he has amazing, amazing performances. You have Katie Cassidy as Laurel Lance. In season 1, she's nothing more than I think she's the assistant DA. She's kind of working her. I don't know if she's the assistant DA. Oh no, she works at that law firm in season 1. Yeah, because she had that one. She had that one friend who went away after season 1. Yeah, so she works at a law firm, season 1, and she's kind of just like this love interest for Oliver in season 1, and they have really good chemistry in the season. It's really good chemistry. So I totally buy into their relationship. Then you have John Diggle. John Diggle, ex-military guy, definitely knows how to use a gun. Definitely, for sure, knows how to kill people. Tries not to, because he's back from war. He's not trying to create more war or more war than himself. For only a small chunk at the beginning of the season is he Oliver's bodyguard, officially his bodyguard, because then he has to play the role of bodyguard after he joins the team. Then, of course, there's fan favorite Felicity Smoke, played by Emily Bent Rickards. She, a lot of people know this by now. She was just supposed to be kind of like another quirky side character. She wasn't supposed to be a main character, but people loved her that much that they had to have her, and rightfully so. Felicity in season 1, and definitely in season 2 when she creates more of the moral dilemma in season 2, she is just such a necessary character to have in the show. I'll explain her situation in season 3, but definitely in season 4. Yeah, fan favorite for a reason. She's quirky. She had the one-liners. She brought a lot of humor to the show, to this really dark show in season 1. I love Felicity in season 1. She's amazing in season 1. Then you have Thea Queen. Thea Queen in season 1 was a junkie. Not much to say. She's kind of like this bratty sister who's damaged inside, damaged in a different way than Oliver is. Oliver obviously is damaged from the island experience, and then Thea is kind of damaged because of dealing with the loss of her actual father, Robert Queen. Well, we'll talk about that in season 2. But yeah, her Robert Queen, the person she knows as her father. Spoiler alert for season 2. If you haven't watched it by now, what are you doing? Come on. So then you have the parent, the parental figures. You have Moira Queen. Moira Queen, she doesn't. Susanna Thompson's character doesn't really play like this huge, massive role. But whenever she's in a scene, you understand the importance of her in the scene. She plays like she's kind of there to keep Oliver, partly Thea, but more so Oliver. She's kind of there to like keep him in check morally, and usually her dialogue with Oliver is kind of like it's kind of like a inside joke for Oliver because he's taking this as advice as the vigilante side of him. So you understand the importance of Susanna Thompson's character in this Moira Queen. Robert Queen, we find out Robert Queen is not really. He's a nice guy, but he wasn't really a good guy, and that's kind of what. It's kind of like Bruce Wayne finding out that Thomas Wayne was kind of. He was kind of almost like an actual shitbag. He wasn't a good guy at all. The difference is Thomas Wayne was actually a very good guy. Robert Queen was not. Robert Queen, now that I kind of think about it, he was kind of corrupted in some aspects, but definitely at the end he was not corrupted. That's why the Oliver's version of being a hero or a vigilante in season 1 was following this list that Robert gave him on the island, or when they were shipwrecked or whatever. Um, that's basically Robert asking Oliver to right my wrongs. I was not a good person. Don't follow in my footsteps. I'm asking you to fix my wrongings. Help me fix it, and so make the city a better place. That's kind of where the whole drive for season 1 comes from. Is a lot from Robert. I feel like it's cheating to say that like I loved Paul Blackthorne as Captain Lance, but even until season 4, I can't because I already have a favorite. I'll talk about him in a little bit here. Character. I already have a favorite character that isn't a part of the actual team. Oliver, Dickel, Felicity. I have my favorite. I can't because it's kind of cheating to say that Captain Lance is my favorite character because Paul Blackthorne just consistently gives amazing performances in every single season of Arrow that there is. Just consistently awesome performances. There are times where he's not utilized as much, but every time they do utilize him, they utilize him to his full potential. And I mean, they do a good job of making Detective Lance's. I'm sorry, Captain Lance is a season 3, but Detective Lance in season 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. What else? I can't say much else. It's just an awesome character. He has really good scenes in everything that he's in. I love Detective Lance. Such an awesome character. Walter Steele. I don't remember the actor's name, and I feel terrible because Walter Steele, aside from Oliver Queen, aside from the team at season 1, Oliver, Felicity, and John Diggle, aside from them, Walter Steele is my favorite character by far. Because Walter Steele, he's not like a total badass, like physically or anything like that, but man, does he has such a way with words. Let me tell you, he knows how to like get under people's skin, but in a way that's right. Like he's not just getting under someone's skin just to be annoying or to fuck with them, but he gets under their skin because he knows it's the right thing to do, and he's really good like behind the scenes detective, and he knows what he wants, and he's a really good person. But man, is he just I love Walter Steele, and I was so ashamed to find out that he wasn't. He was like I think he made a cameo in the very beginning of season 2. I want to say he's in season 3 too. I don't think he's in season 4. Season 4 is jam packed, but season 2 and 3 he made like a 1 episode cameo, like part of 1 episode. I forget what that's all about, but yeah, Walter Steele is my favorite character aside from the team. Just I love him. He had this really good charisma about him, and he almost has like this black and white code of morality where something is right. And as a matter of fact, even in season one, I remember this very clearly. He divorced Moira Queen because once Walter found out that she was part of a scheme, the undertaking, Walter was like, you know what, you may be my wife, and you may be um, the mother to my stepdaughter, yeah, my stepdaughter, Thea, as well as Oliver. But you know what? You're corrupted. I don't want to deal with that. I'm divorcing you. I was like, that. You know what? He's right. And in a way, I almost didn't feel bad for Moira Queen. But I love Walter Steele. That's really. I'm just gonna sound redundant. The more I just say I like Walter Steele. Um, who else is there? Then there's Malcolm Merlin. Malcolm Merlin. He was a really good foe because Malcolm Merlin was the only foe, in my opinion. Season 2, 3, or 4 did not have what Malcolm Merlin had in season 1. And Malcolm Merlin had that aspect of I'm friends with the family. He had that aspect of I am a bad guy, but you don't know it. Like right in your face all the time, I have been the bad guy, but you have no idea what I'm doing because I'm a good guy to you, and I love that about Malcolm Merlin. He has that's the unique thing that will always make Malcolm Merlin Oliver Queen's enemy, and I love that about, or they'll always be kind of clashing heads. Um, I didn't forget Tommy Merlin. Uh, he, everyone loves Tommy. Everyone loves Tommy Merlin. That's all you can say. I mean, he was a really cool character. He's kind of like yin and yang to Oliver because we all know the secret side to Oliver is his like he's beyond that playboy status, but Tommy is absolutely not. But he doesn't know that about Oliver, so um, it kind of serves for like not so much like an opposite for Oliver, but kind of in a way they're kind of connected in a way because Oliver still sees Tommy as a friend, but at the same time they're very much not alike anymore because Oliver's the way Oliver is a friend to Tommy, or I should rephrase that. The way Tommy sees Oliver as a friend, that's just a mask for Oliver now because the real Oliver is the vigilante. Yeah, so I mean Tommy's really cool. He kind of plays an important role, definitely an important role in season one. He dies. He's still not back. Fuck. Yeah, season one of Arrow. This is when Arrow was amazing. I loved Arrow season one. It was this brand new show. Um, there was a lot of skepticism because the CW after like what is it, 3 or 4 or maybe even more shitty seasons of Smallville after they just went way the hell, like what the fuck are they doing with Smallville? People were skeptical that the CW was going to ruin Arrow. Or they were going to make another bad show. They weren't just going to ruin it, but they were going to start off like horribly. And then, boy, have people never eaten their words so quickly before. Arrow was had an amazing first season. It was his fresh idea. Not a lot of people know the Green Arrow, but season one definitely is like here's a taste of what he's like. Aside from the comedy, because the Green Arrow is kind of a comedic character in the comics. But yeah, season one of Arrow. I would say season one. Uh, there's also Roy Harper in there, but we're gonna talk more about him in season two because that's definitely where he gets more screen time. Um, I would say the only problem I had with season one was the first half of it felt very episodic, and basically that's because it was all set up, and it was kind of just they were following the people on the list. That was Oliver's way of being a vigilante or a hero, and that's by design. They have to kind of do it that way. They have to be episodic, but obviously the second half is where the there's a big plot now, which is the undertaking. But that's my only problem is that it's episodic. Not that it's not bad. The episodes aren't bad. There may be one or two that kind of drag on. It's like, oh god, this one again, really. Um, there weren't too many of those, but that might be my only problem with that. With that being said, Arrow season 1, I'm definitely going to give a 9 out of 10 because, you know, there's just that episodic feeling that I didn't like. I'm not really a big fan of like drama episodic. You know, like comedy shows, they can be episodic to me because they're just their goal is to kind of be funny. They can have an overall theme if they want, but episodic comedy, it's kind of like well, there's no continuity now. You know, it's like there's no really character development. But Arrow, it had good character development, even though it was episodic at the beginning. So that's why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Um, excuse me. So yeah, Arrow season 1, 9 out of 10. I love this show in season 1, and season 2, it gets better. It just gets a lot better. They improve upon a lot of things, and we're gonna talk about that in the next video, season 2 of Arrow.